Hey guys, so this CD and vinyl update is going to be a little bit more shorter than my past ones, and being the reason why is because the $800 mistake that I made in my last video. I told you guys all about it, and you know, I haven't had money lately recently because I've been working my ass off trying to pay for that, and I've also had other stuff going on in my life right now. I'm still in high school, so you know, I have all this work being blown on me still. So, you know, I appreciate all my subscribers for staying with me, and I apologize for the past month that I haven't posted any videos practically. So right off the bat, let's get into it. Alright, so first let's start off with the vinyl. This is the Mass Mord and Shades of Grey split LP, and it is on brown marble here. It's very, very nice. Like it. Vinyl is very beautiful, if I may say so myself. Now, this split LP, the best way to explain it is these guys, both of them are hardcore, power violence, and grindcore, really all mixed into one. I've been kind of down on the hardcore scene recently because all the hardcore bands going towards breakdowns and slowing down the music, and you know, I'm not really into slow down music. I don't mind it, I do enjoy slowed down metal, but you know, to the point where it's a whole breakdown to the whole song, it kind of takes away from the vibe of hardcore for me personally. These guys definitely bring back that older sound when hardcore was first coming out with, you know, grindcore and power violence, you know, definitely a lot more faster, brutality, all in the mix. The bass hits you right in the face, the guitar work, the drums, the vocals, it all really hits you in the face. You know, vocals are these high-pitched screaming voices for both sides, both Mass Mord and Shades of Grey. And the guitar riffing and the bass and the drums, it's all great and fantastic. You know, if you're looking for some decent, you know, hardcore that's fast-paced, then definitely pick up this LP. I got it off Give Praise Records. And if you guys are going to ask, I got all this vinyl from Give Praise Records. But let's get on to the next one. Next one is Suffering Minds at War of Mankind. Now, I picked up this album simply because of the fact that they had a female-fronted vocalist. Now, not that it was my only reason that I picked these guys up. I have heard this stuff on YouTube before. I enjoyed it, and I liked it. And, you know, I figured I'd give it a try and buy their album. You know, I wasn't disappointed. This LP is great. Grindcore all the way with a mix of power violence and hardcore in there. Influences from everywhere. A few death metal riffs here and there I can pick up in the mix. But really, the best way to describe these guys is fast, brutal, in your face the whole time, drums blasting, guitar blazing, bass fucking blazing off the walls, and vocals in your face the whole time. You know, as soon as you put the needle on this vinyl and it starts spinning, you hear the music, it hits you with a brutality force that's right in your chest. You can feel the pressure. It's just brutal, fast, and super intense. There are not that many slowdowns on this album, though. I know a lot of people like slowdowns when they're listening to the grindcore because, whoa, way too fast. There are one or two, but to be honest, there isn't that many slowdowns for Suffering Mind, and, you know, great LP here. I love it. At War with Mankind, great album, great bands, just fucking brutal and awesome. Best way to put it. Next, I picked up Landmine Marathons and the Funeral Prey, or Prairie, however you say the band's name. It's not the band's name that counts, it's the music. Forgive me if I say it wrong. Don't get butthurt. Now, the reason why I picked this up is because Landmine Marathons, the Gallows CD, made it on my top 10 for 2011 last year, so I figured I'd pick up some of their older stuff and see what they were into. And I've also listened to the Funeral Prey, or whatever their name is, forgive me, a few times before as well. So I figured I'd listen to both their older stuff. I give two good bands in one shot, 2 songs here for each band. Each side gets, you know, 2 songs, and great. This album is great. These guys both have a similar style of mixing the grindcore with the death metal. When Landmine Marathon's side first starts up, it has this really more death metal vibe to it. It's got a more of a death metal riff when it's first starting out, and then the bass kicks in and the drums kick in and her vocals kick in, and it's brutality and amazing. Love the Landmine Marathon side. The Funeral Prey side I also did enjoy. It's very good. I've heard their newer stuff, and I actually like their newer stuff a little bit more than their past stuff, but that's just me personally. Both the vocals are high-pitched screams, which kind of threw me off because they both sounded the same. And this is black vinyl, and you know, it's got a disc front side and a disc pick the other side, and it doesn't really tell you which side is A or B, so I had to really go back and look at the bands to see, you know, which side was starting with what, and both very great. if you guys are into either of these bands, definitely pick it up. If you haven't heard of either of these bands, it gives you a quick little listen. You know, it's 2 tracks for each side. I think this was 450, 4 to 7 inch. You know, great little pickup here, and just brutal and amazing. Alright, so let's move on to a little bit of death metal. Give you guys a break of the grindcore stuff. This is Drain of Impurities Wormrot MCD, and basically this is a 4-track EP, and this guy released an album, and he's just a one-man band, and if you're into slam death metal, this is definitely more for you. If you're not into slam death metal, don't pick this up. The reason being why is because the whole album, and this guy's been known for doing this, is basically just a few simple guitar riffs and a few simple bass riffs, and then he adds in the drums and the vocals and makes it more brutal, more heavy, and just fucking awesome. And this guy's made a definitely huge improvement on his vocals from the last album. They're more deeper, more guttural, more just deeper and darker. The vocals on this album definitely add a lot more potential, and from what I've listened to on their past CDs and stuff, I have picked up their CDs before, you know, this guy has definitely improved as an artist, as a, you know, guitar musician, as pretty much everything he's improved on for this album. So if you've had any doubts about Drain of Impurity in the past, pick up this 4-track MCD Wormrot. I got this off Severed Records. Love it. It's brutal, it's heavy, and it's got that more slowed down feeling to it when you just want to listen to metal, but you want to listen to something slow too, but you don't want to listen to deathcore or hardcore. You know, this definitely is the album you want to pick up. Next album I picked up is another grindcore slash, you know, power violence CD. This is definitely more of a grindcore CD, but it does have a lot of slowed down melodic vibes. This is Death Toll 80K Harsh Realities. This album is fucking amazing. First off, it starts off with a brutality kick, just like Suffering Minds, you know, very brutal, very heavy. Starts off with the bass, the guitars, the vocals, it all hits you all at once. The drums are fast and brutal and blazing. But on more, when it gets to the 12th track or so, it starts slowing down a bit, and it gets more melodic. The bass is very, very groovy, the guitar gets groovy, the drums get very melodic with the drums, and the vocals get a little bit more slower, but he still keeps that more brutality feeling to it. A lot of people says that this reminds them of Insect Warfare, and you know, I really do have to agree to some extent. I think the vocals remind me a lot of Insect Warfare and some Wormrot, but to be honest, the instrumental wise, these guys are a lot more faster, a lot more brutal, and a lot more groovy than Insect Warfare and Wormrot. But you know, don't get mad at me, I'm not dissing either Wormrot or Insect Warfare. They're both very great grindcore bands, and I enjoy both of them. But you know, this is a little bit more faster for taste. Alright, next I picked up is more of a pop punk CD, and a lot of you guys have been asking me what do I listen to outside of metal. And you know, I listen to a lot of pop punk and classical music. I really try to mix up the two. I listen to whatever's on the radio. You know, I really listen to everything. I really do appreciate every art form of music. I do appreciate country. I don't like Taylor Swift at all, but that's my personal opinion. To each their own. Though I do think she has a few good songs out, but I don't like her as an artist. But me personally, you know, I really do, as a musician myself, as a vocalist, I really do admire and look at other artists and musicians and really do see what they do, because every talent and musician and every genre really has their own style of playing, and everybody has their own style of doing things. So the pop punk album I got is Tonight Alive, What Are You So Scared Of? Now, this is a female fronted singer, and to be honest, I was a little bit hesitated in buying this, because the female singers in a lot of pop punk bands, you know, I do really have to agree, is that Paramore really set the bar for that. I think people can go over that bar if they find a unique thing that they can do, but today it's really so hard to do since a lot of people have already done more unique things. You know, it's really hard to pick up on it, and a lot of singers, female fronted wise, sound like Paramore's singer. So, you know, I was a little bit hesitating. I was like, should I get this? And then finally I decided, you know, I'll pick it up, I'll give it a shot. If I don't like it, I'll give it to one of my friends who are into this stuff. And I really like this. This album's really, really great, ranging from tracks to all the way to the end, really. And, you know, the title track at the end was really great. They have a little instrumental, like, interlude in the beginning. I wasn't too proud of that, but really great band. You know, Breaking and Entering, the second track, it really starts off and gets a good vibe of what you're going to be listening to on this album. Pop punk with a great female vocalist, a great guitar work, great bass, great drums, really the whole 9 yards. This band as a whole really works together, and you can feel just the vibe of the band playing. You can feel them on their happy songs, their slow, sad songs, their good songs, their fast-paced ones. They're all really great, and each song is individually great, and it's different in its own way. Although a lot of the guitar riffing sounds the same on this album, I did have a little bit of nitpick at that, but really, that was all that really bothered me on this album. Now, you guys are sitting on a stack of CDs, and I put one of them in there. This will be the last one I'm going to show you guys. Here it is. Alright, come on. Bingo. And see, now you guys are lower because I took it out of the stack. So, next album I got was Vanessa Carlton's Harmonium, or however you say it, forgive me. Now, this is more of a, how to explain it, a classical musician with a pop-punk vibe. I've been into Vanessa Carlton ever since this album came out. Excuse me. Ever since this album came out, White Houses, you know, I really didn't start buying her CDs or anything until recently. In 2011, she had her first album in, I believe, 5 or 4 years, you know, really great. It's called White Rabbits, or Rabbits on the Run. It's really, really great album, and Vanessa Carlton as a musician and as a whole is great. You know, I like her piano, I like the way she sings, I like the way that the drums and everything are really played on this album. You know, you can definitely hear a more classical vibe on this album than her first album when it came out. And, you know, really, really great singer. A lot of people are going to down on me, but White Houses and definitely San Francisco are my favorite albums, or favorite songs on this album, simply because White Houses kind of reminds me, I'll put a link below to that song, it reminds me of the innocence of youth and, you know, just losing something that you hold dear, you know, and it really reminds me of the innocence of youth, and any artist that can make me feel something, rather be an author, a musician, or, you know, a movie, you know, if you can make me feel something that I haven't felt in a long time, or something really, really great, you know, that's amazing. And the song is perfect, it's great, you know, if I could give it 5 stars, but, you know, I'm just a little YouTube guy, you know, I'd give it 5 stars, and she's very underrated, and the reason why is because of her song that came out, you know, 1,000 Miles, you know, I will walk 1,000 miles, and that album was, I gotta be honest, that album I didn't like at all. I didn't like the album as a whole. I liked the song by all means when it came out on the radio, but, you know, I wasn't too thrilled by it at all to start looking into the artist. 1, because I was probably 4 or 5 at the time, and 2, because, you know, the song wasn't really that great. It was just something that a lot of teeny boppers that girls will get all drooling over and oh, I love you, and oh, I love you. And, you know, I really didn't like the album as a whole. But Vanessa Carlton, anything you pick up that doesn't have 1,000 miles on it is great by her. Her EPs, her LPs, the vinyl, you know, everything. Definitely any CD, any work that she's done afterwards, I definitely consider a great part of her career. And Vanessa Carlton has been an influence to me. She's one of the reasons why I started singing death metal. You know, I do enjoy my classical music side definitely a lot more than I do my pop and my death metal and everything else vibe. But, you know, that's me personally. So there you go. You guys got to see, you know, some stuff that I got, and I dragged it on a little bit. So yeah, that's stuff that I listen to outside of metal is definitely classical and pop music, whatever's on the radio, and pretty much anything that sounds good to me. You know, a lot of people say, oh, you listen to pop and stuff, and you're death metal listeners. You know, every genre has their own unique style. Every genre has their artists who are good, and every artist that's bad and generic and boring. You know, every genre has that. Death metal has it, deathcore has it, grindcore has it, you know, the whole extreme metal area in general, metalcore, you know, we all have those bands that really just suck, but somehow they got popular through bands and boys and girls, and then they become a scene, and, you know, so everybody has their own different opinions, and there are some stuff that's popular that I really do enjoy, but, you know, to each their own. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you're watching this, there's going to be an album review on a bit later after this gets uploaded, but this is probably going to take a long ass time. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed watching the video. Have a good day.